Okay, so I just wanted to make a comment about this because I've been saying this for the longest time. I said that there are a portion of white people in America who do have cultural connections, right? Meaning they are Jewish, Italian, Irish, Polish, German, Greek, there's so many different types of things that are a part of white culture, right? But there is a portion of white America that does not know where they came from. And I really thought about this for the longest time because it was something I talked about before. But I said that in terms of race classification, specifically in America, there is a tethering between blackness and whiteness. Now, here's the difference. The difference is that blackness is something that would be considered, a minority, something that it's an identification used to make a certain group of people less than. It is something that was a tool used to dehumanize black people or African people as we once were. And so, because of what black Americans have done and used that particular type of identification as a way to build a community, we can't be the same as white people. Whiteness is something that is seen throughout the world. Whiteness was something cultivated and created by, well, Europeans who decided to create race classification to begin with. And so when they created whiteness, right, they've given themselves the ability to be the default of so many different things throughout society. Through force, through colonization, through slavery, through so many different things. However, at the end of the day, when we're talking about a specific group of white people who are longing for connection, no one's going to care about their plight. The same way nobody cared about this white woman's plight. And I do sympathize with her a bit, but nobody's going to care because simply due to the fact that their ancestors worked so hard to be the default of society, worked so hard to dominate everyone else. And so the consequence of that is when you genuinely do feel a disconnect, when you genuinely want to be considered somebody of culture, the people who were forced to become black, who were forced to be under this racial classification, the people who are affected by this thing called white supremacy are not going to give you the sympathy. Because if you had the upper hand, you should have been able to maintain your culture. This goes beyond, I'm not going to sit here and act like I have the schooling to be able to really go through all of this. But this is something that is so interesting to me because I kind of realized that when I was just at the store the other day, or some days ago, and I remember just being around these white dudes, right? And they were just sitting there talking like it's this weird version of like these black dudes that you hear from like the hood. And I remember going somewhere else with my family and it was the same thing. Bruh, oh my gosh, man, what you talking about, right? Just oh, cuz acting stupid, bruh, lame, bruh. There's like stuff that you would hear black youth say. And it was just so interesting to me because I was like, why did they do that? Right, I'm in South Mississippi. I've been around a lot of white people who speak country, maybe, or the standard American accent. But I'm like, why is the youth sitting here using internet language, which is AAVE? Why are they doing it so much? And we can say, oh, because of the way that Black American lingo and Black American aesthetic is being pushed around all around the world, and it's very popular, and it's like a trend and stuff like that. Yeah. But a part of it, I do believe, is the fact that I came to realize that they don't have an identity. The difference with Remick from Sinners is that he had an identity. He had a culture that he was still connected to, even though he was separated from, and there was consequence to that, but he was connected to it, right? So it's very interesting that the first people that he decided to turn and decide to make one of his allies were people who were the Klansmen, even though he did not like those individuals, even though he did not agree with the different things that they did. That's what he said, right? But there is a portion of white Americans who are Nazis, who are white supremacists, who are anti-black, who are racist, because they don't know where else to go. They didn't have to build like black Americans did. They didn't have to recreate. They weren't necessarily like other people where they were connected to their culture, but then they come to another country and then they had this different type of thing of assimilating, but then creating a hybrid of their culture mixed with this country's culture. No, it was straight up just them coming to a different place, forcing other people out, and then not keeping up with their culture.